Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Reed's Read Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out at the SpiderManCrawlspace.com. Well, everybody, I'm back for my first big review, of course, for 2026. I'm going to kick it off with Amazing Spider-Man number 18, aka 982 in legacy numbers, written by Joe Kelly and art by John Romita Jr. So, what was this one issue here? Because this was actually the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man for 2025, with issue 19 coming out here shortly. So, let's get into this. So, first of all, the pros. I have to say, I think the best part of this was seriously between Norman Osborn and J. Jonah Jameson. Joe Kelly has really got the voice of the current status of this, and I love the dialogue. I mean, with Jonah knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man now, and even Norman filling his as Spider-Man, it's really cool. I even do like, for the first time, it's believable when he even tells them, Peter must have seen potential in you to actually believe that you could be a hero or anything else. But it's also great just the way that it parts of that too, because I really do that. Like, this really kind of is the fathers of Spider-Man kind of thing, about these two people who were basically Spider-Man's worst enemies. Jonah trying to smear him with the Daily Bugle and hatred all the years with the Spider Slayers and a few other things, from the Scorpion to the Fly. Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin. And it just works. It's just enjoyable. The dialogue between the two of them is actually just enjoyable, about them talking. Even Jonah was saying, like, the only person who ever did it correctly was Captain America. And then Spider-Man was doing it when he was, in the throes of puberty. It's a great line, and it's great seeing the characterization is good. And I have to say, John Romita Jr. hits the points on here. The issue is actually a lot of the talking dialogue, and you can say what it is about his artwork and everything, but it really works here. It keeps the conversations, the emotions in there, the battle themes, the feeling of dread is there during the one parts here, which I'll get a little bit here in some of the cons as well as some of the pros before the final grading. But the artwork just really good. It has a familiarity to it, and it's just actually a lot of fun. Cons in. Biggest one I'm going to say is, of course, Captain Nitson. What is the point of this character? We know it involves Hellgate. We know we're getting the Hellgate re-battle here pretty soon, and a little bit more of the origin and everything else. But this is a character just showed up, has no origin story, has been hanging out with the Spider Society here, from Spider Gwen, Ghost Spider, to Miles Morales, Spider Boy, and they're all kind of like, why are you here? Well, I'm trying to be a hero. And what's your real name? What's your origin? Why do you look like you just picked off a bunch of bleached camo clothes from the local Goodwill and then threw together a broken version of a cosplay Captain America shield? There's just nothing here, and unfortunately Kelly has not given us anything to really want us to know who this is or what his origins are, and even more, his design is very lackluster, really, too. Also, finally, we knew this was coming. First of all, let's talk about Maria Osmani Milton, the head of Rand Corp now, where Ben Reilly has been working with his old middle school buddy, Brian. First of all, I do like the fact that on her phone it says the boy, which she's talking about her son. And as we find out, she is dealing with some health issues, possibly cancer issues. And Norman Osborn's been kind of helping her with things. And she's kind of been very distracted between being a CEO and trying to be a mom, while also dealing with a health issue. But I kind of laugh that she calls her son the boy, and the truth is he doesn't have a name. He's never been referred to as outside her son. We know he's around 10, 11 years old. But also the fact that she dismisses Brian, the fact this has been building with much, this was his BFF from middle school that we really didn't get thing, and we finally kind of get the supervillain origin where he pushes through. Ben Reilly as Peter Parker has kind of pushed the patents out. She trusts Peter, aka Ben Reilly, more to run the department, and he decides to go with an experiment with the fungus in the building, and it blows up on his face. Look at that, everybody. There's a supervillain origin. He's not the mastermind we thought he was between the Scryers and Roderick Kingsley, but here's Brian's supervillain origin, which is going to be, of course, mismanaged because like I said, Ben jumped in here, his piece is going to be done, and of course this is going to be his hatred towards Peter Parker, his supervillain origin. It's kind of half-handed. It works kind of in a way. I could see it with him being more jealous in Peter Parker's personal life versus his superhero life. But I feel like this has been telegraphed since issue 1, that when this finally happens to him, it's like, really, this is where we're going. I have to say, though, the appearance of the various goblins from the from the Queen Goblin to, of course, Phil Urich, and by the say the do a little bit of a line from The Godfather. Look how you've massacred my boy, but they're hunting goblins. Oh, but it's so weird. Is I feel like there's kind of like Joe Kelly's trying to rush a storyline here. We already talked about Peter in space. It's pretty much been rushed. They're trying to get the storyline done. I feel too, because it feels like there was this big setup. I mean, the cover itself was completely misdirection with the cyber hobgoblin, which of course John Romita Jr. co-designed during the Clone Saga during Ben Reilly's run as Spider-Man. But the fact is, it's misleading. The fact that the Scryer Society with Roger King have been hunting the different goblins. The fact is they tear Phil Urich apart. They grab Ned Leeds, and then here they do everything with with Dr. Ashley Koff. But the fact she's been living under another identity secret, still being a psychiatrist, and has actually been doing a little bit of the money manipulation, still helping these people, but manipulate him a little bit like Moonstone, like Carlos Softa in Thunderbolts, was actually really cool. But then we get kind of thrown in on this that, oh, this has been going on, but just so you know, we got to throw those story ideas out there because we got to get to the storyline because they're hunting goblins. It's really cool, and it is in a way. But I feel like Joe Kelly got the taste that he has to get these storylines wrapped up faster. We got the Venom crossover coming in a couple months. We have things to get into Amazing Spider-Man 1000. I feel like these stories are just getting kind of pushed really fast. The thing is, it's still really good, and I actually have to give this issue an A. I know, my first review for the new year, and I give it an A. Whoa, where am I, folks? Where am I? But it's good. The writing is actually very solid. Besides for Brian's, supervillain origin, and I feel like we've kind of rushed past some of these storylines where there was a good background to them. It's still very solid. It reads like a really good issue of Spider-Man, and it's what's the sad part is Peter Parker is not really involved in this book, and it's stronger for it, which seems to cause an issue. But still, despite all that, I gotta give this issue an A. I really enjoyed it. Norman and Jonah, fantastic. The whole little thing with the goblins and the scryers is really cool. And some other things with the fact that we're kind of getting this reverse origin with Ben Reilly kind of being as Peter. It's kind of cool, and I really enjoy it. So it's pretty good. And I have not much else to say about that, everybody. But if you want to know more and check out our reviews and everything, please check us out the Spider-Man Crawl Space. Check us out on our Discord, the website, our YouTube channel, as well as podcast, and check us out on Instagram. And for more issues, everybody, if you would like anything else, check us out, of course, at SpidermanCrawlspace.com for all your latest Spider-Man information and more. And on that note, everybody, I will see everybody later.